Welcome to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture. My name is Maria Kądzielska Koper, and I have a pleasure to introduce to all of you Carson Becker, an American researcher about Polish history and especially Armia Krajowa. Carson, thank you very much for showing up here.
Thank you.
And you come here to Poland from Virginia University, from US, from a place which, after all, has never experienced war, in this case of being a field of fights. And we are sitting here right now in Warsaw, in the district which was previously a ghetto, and everything around us, maybe except the church, was destroyed. And right now we're walking through the modern Warsaw, which some places are rebuilt historically, some are totally new build. And what is your impression and what are your thoughts?
Well, of course, I think the tragedy of destruction in Warsaw is something that is not fully appreciated. To think that the city was practically erased from the map, it's something that I don't think many visitors even will realize. But with the exception of, as you were saying, with the exception of maybe some parts of the American South, perhaps, there hasn't really been much of a ground war on U.S. soil in quite a long time, since the American Civil War. So I think one of the lessons of Warsaw that would be useful for folks back home in America is that war has enormous consequences, and there's so much to be lost when actually the fighting is happening in your own neighborhoods and in your own cities. So I'll give you an example. Dr. Kolsky, after he fought in the Warsaw Uprising, was taken to a prisoner of war camp in Germany. And after that, he eventually made his way to the United Kingdom, his way to London, actually. And eventually, a few years after that, he got himself into Yale University, where he studied architecture, and he became an architect. And I've always wondered if perhaps he was inspired by the destruction of his own city with the desire to build beautiful things and to create beautiful buildings. So I think there's something very beautiful about the way in which Warsaw has been recovering much of its lost architecture. It's definitely an uphill battle, and there's certain logistical problems with doing so. But to me, the city is very much alive with history. When you walk in certain parts of Żoliborz or Mokotów especially, you can see actually the remnants of the Warsaw Uprising on the sides of certain buildings. You can see the bullet holes. You can see some remnants of the destruction. And in my opinion, it's sort of a monument to the resolve of the Polish people. Part of me would like to see that stay in a historical sense, to stand continually as a reminder of what happened here, because it's part of the city's character. It's become part of Warsaw's identity. Before the war, there were many ambitions to restore the city and to make the city the Paris of the East, and of course, a lot of this was done by Mayor Stefan Starzyński. Sadly, as we all know, Stefan Starzyński did not survive past the first few months of the war. But I think there's much to be learned from his ambitions, and there's much to be learned from the desire to make Warsaw an ever more beautiful place. And so I'm very hopeful for the continual beautification of this lovely city, and I wish everyone who's involved with that the best in their efforts.
Well, I do keep the fingers crossed for this as well, that we'll sort of get rid of the communistic blocks which we got imported here by imperial time, and go back to the beauty of Warsaw, which was before the World War II and before Warsaw Uprising, and just to restore all of those stone houses and the taste of Warsaw, which definitely needed to be fascinating and very different than what we have right now after the reconstructions, which after all needed to be done during the communism, which was a lot of, even after the war, there was a lot of shortage of materials, and also urban thinking, but just people needed to be put somewhere to sleep and live and go back to life, and that they definitely didn't have in mind to making this beautiful. But as we know, beauty is an important virtue.
Of course.
So to all of you, the viewers of Poland Daily Culture, come to Warsaw, see it, check it out how it was before the World War II and how it is right now, and maybe you will find your own beautiful place here that you will fall in love with. And thank you for watching our show.